The NBA is full of numbers, wins, points, records, but sometimes the greatest stories are the ones that never fully happened. Moments, one injury, one trade, or one whistle away from rewriting history. Let's dive into the seasons that made every fan ask the question, what if? In 1987, the Portland Trailblazers owned the second pick in the draft. Hakeem Olajuwon is already gone to Houston in '84, so their next choice defines a decade. They pass on Michael Jordan 2 years earlier, taking Sam Bowie instead. Now, in 1987, they draft Clyde Drexler's future wing partner. But imagine if Portland had gone all in for Jordan. Jordan and Drexler in the same backcourt means unstoppable transition firepower and a defensive terror. Chicago loses its cornerstone, while Portland potentially builds the dynasty the Bulls later became. This single alternate reality alters not just basketball, it changes Nike, pop culture, and the league's global explosion. But history sticks to its path, and by 1990, the Blazers watched the Bulls rise into what they could have been. Move ahead to 1993. Michael Jordan's shocking retirement stops the Bulls at 3 championships. With him gone, Scottie Pippen averages 22 points and leads them to 55 wins anyway. So what if Jordan doesn't retire? In that scenario, Chicago likely wins 8 straight titles. No loss to Houston in the mid-90s, no gap in the dynasty. Instead, the Rockets seize the window. Hakeem wins back-to-back finals MVPs, defining his own what-if moment. Because while Michael's golf clubs rest in the locker room, Olajuwon dominates the paint, changing legacies forever. Now imagine 2011, a year that felt like destiny for Derrick Rose. He's just 22, wins MVP, averages 25 points and 7 assists, leading Chicago to 62 wins. But 1 year later, his knee buckles, the ACL tear that changes everything. From 2011 to 2017, Rose misses more games than he plays. But what if that injury never happens? Rose, healthy, facing LeBron's Heat every spring, could have become the Eastern Conference antidote to Miami's dominance. Instead, his prime vanishes before it truly begins, leaving behind one of basketball's most painful what-ifs. But injuries don't just rewrite careers, they can shift entire eras. Take 1980. Larry Bird and Magic Johnson enter the league at the same time, and the NBA desperately needs stars. Attendance is low, finals games air on tape delay. But what if Magic never plays in Los Angeles? The Lakers almost trade that pick before the 1979 draft. No Showtime, no fast breaks to the forum crowd. Without that team's charisma, the league might never rebound into the billion-dollar spectacle it becomes by the 1990s. Speaking of the Lakers, travel ahead to 2004. Kobe Bryant averages 24 points, Shaquille O'Neal 21 and 12. But chemistry collapses after 3 championships. Shaq leaves for Miami, and the dynasty ends overnight. So what if they stay together? From 2004 to 2007, San Antonio wins 3 or 4 titles. A united Shaq-Kobe core could have stolen at least 2. Instead, those years go to the Spurs, and the Kobe versus Duncan debate replaces Kobe versus Shaq. Now flip to another Lakers story, one that never even begins. In 2011, the league vetoes a trade sending Chris Paul to Los Angeles. At the time, Paul averages 19 points and 10 assists, entering his prime. Kobe is 33 years old, but still lethal at 28 points per night. That duo would have created the league's most intelligent backcourt, ruthless in half-court execution. Instead, the trade dies and Paul goes to the Clippers. Lob City becomes flashy, but never legendary. Meanwhile, the Lakers slip into decline. That's not just one team's miss. It alters years of playoff matchups, media storylines, and player legacies. Every era holds a pivot like this, a fork in history that looks small in real time, but explodes in hindsight. The 1999 Knicks make the finals as the 8th seed, the only team ever to do it in a full season. But Patrick Ewing's Achilles injury collapses their chances. If he stays healthy, New York maybe wins that short lockout season, rewriting how we remember the 1990s, not just as Michael's, but as the last stand of the big men. Then there's Grant Hill, a universal what-if symbol. In 1997, he averages 21 points, 9 rebounds, and 7 assists, looking like the heir to Jordan. But by 2000, foot surgeries erase his arc. What if he stays healthy? We might see Hill, not LeBron, reinvent the point forward. Because stylistically, Hill was LeBron before LeBron. Vision, elegance, and explosiveness wrapped together too early for his time. The same goes for Penny Hardaway. In 1996, at age 24, he puts up 21 points, 7 assists, and takes Orlando deep into the playoffs. But injuries hit, Shaq leaves for the Lakers, and the magic window slams shut. Had Penny's knees lasted, that duo might have matched the Bulls' 90s run, possibly shifting O'Neal's prime from Los Angeles back to Florida. Jump to 2016 Warriors. They win 73 games, the best record in NBA history, but lose the finals after leading 3-1. If they close that series, Golden State stands as the ultimate modern dynasty. No Kevin Durant rescue required. Instead, LeBron's Cavaliers make history, and Durant's 2016 decision forever changes how fans view super teams. That loss didn't just sting. It reshaped player mobility, ego balance, and even the narrative power of redemption in basketball. Speaking of LeBron, his 2018 campaign might be the single greatest solo run ever recorded. He plays all 82 games at age 33, averages 34 points in the playoffs, and single-handedly takes Cleveland through Toronto and Boston. But what if J.R. Smith doesn't dribble out the clock in Game 1 of the finals? If Cleveland steals that opener, momentum could shift, maybe pushing the series to 6 or 7. Instead, it becomes a sweep, marking the end of the Cavaliers' Dynasty 2.0. One mental error defines an entire franchise exit. Then there's the 2020 bubble, the quietest, strangest season in NBA history. No fans, no travel, just pure basketball. Jimmy Butler becomes a folk hero, LeBron claims his 4th ring, and Miami stuns the league by reaching the finals. But what if injuries don't sideline Bam Adebayo and Goran Dragic in that series? Miami played 2 games at full strength, both went down to the wire. Healthy, that finals maybe go 7, and Butler's 47-minute performance might have delivered one of the greatest underdog stories ever. History turns on inches, on ligaments, and sometimes on a referee's whistle. Think back to 2002, Western Conference Finals, Lakers versus King. Sacramento owns the league's best record, peaking with Chris Webber's 24 points and Vlade Divac's all-around brilliance. But the series shifts after a controversial Game 6 whistle. 27 free throws for Los Angeles in the 4th quarter alone. If the Kings win that series, maybe they dethrone the Lakers and cement themselves as early 2000s icons instead of forgotten near misses. Every season carries at least one moment like this, a version of basketball that almost existed. In 1994, Seattle wins 63 games behind Gary Payton and Shawn Kemp, but they lose to the 8th-seeded Nuggets. If they survive that series, maybe George Karl's Sonics reach the finals twice, changing the direction of the franchise before it relocates to Oklahoma City. The dominoes keep falling because one playoff upset can alter a city's basketball existence. Then there's Kevin Durant's 2019 finals. He misses nearly the entire postseason, returns for Game 5, and in just 11 minutes ruptures his Achilles. Golden State loses the title, and Durant leaves for Brooklyn. If he stays healthy, the Warriors might have won 4 straight championships. Instead, the dynasty fractures and the league regains parity overnight. No sport compresses more destiny into one play than basketball. The 2019 Raptors put that reality into motion. Kawhi Leonard's buzzer beater in Game 7 against Philadelphia. 4 bounces on the rim decide the season. If that shot rims out, the 76ers might advance, change free agency outcomes, and stop Toronto's only championship ever. That single bounce determines who stays, who leaves, and who's remembered. And sometimes the biggest what-ifs don't belong to players. They belong to teams that never were. Consider the 1984 draft again. What if the Houston Rockets take Michael Jordan instead of Hakeem? Hakeem would probably fall to Portland, where his defense could have fixed what Bowie never gave them. Maybe Houston still wins a title, but now with the shooting icon instead of a low-post powerhouse. Different personalities, different marketing, different league image. Balance of 80s dominance swings completely. Then picture modern NBA storylines, like Zion Williamson's potential. He enters the league averaging 27 points on 60% shooting, already an all-time efficiency peak, but health holds him back. If Zion stays on the court 75 games per season, New Orleans suddenly becomes a Western contender and